Here again with another Dexter related video. As many of you know, I just finished rewatching Dexter and Dexter New Blood, and I've been doing various Dexter ranking videos such as my seasons ranked and my top 35 favorite characters of Dexter ranked. In this particular video, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 least favorite characters on any version of Dexter. Now, how I came up with this list: characters I didn't like, their importance to the show, how much I hated them, what role they served, just characters I didn't really like. And some of you may not have any of these characters on your list. We are all going to have different opinions. If we all had the same opinion, the world would be a very boring place. So just know that ahead of time. And of course, if you aren't caught up to the point where I am and rewatching or watching Dexter or Dexter New Blood, which is all 96 episodes of Dexter and all 10 episodes of Dexter New Blood, I highly suggest that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And again, remember that my list is going to be very different than yours. In fact, I bet half of the people that are on my list won't make your list, so just keep that in mind. But number 10 for me is going to be Rita. So Rita Bennett Morgan has the dubious distinction of making my top 35 favorite characters list at number 35, and also being on my top 10 least favorite characters list. And spoiler alert, she's the only one that's on both lists. Rita in season 1 was tolerable, but still annoying at times. Season 2, Rita really got on my nerves with trying to dictate everything Dexter does and then making him go to these NA meetings, which, you know, she has a reason to make him go. But just how bitchy she is when he doesn't come home with the chip, the first-timer chip, how we can't continue this relationship, Dexter, if you don't do what I say that you have to do. And it's annoying. Season 3, she gets a little bit better, but she still has her annoying tendencies. And then in season 4 of Dexter, I start to like Rita a little bit more, so that's why she made my top characters list, because I think she is good with Dexter, and I think eventually Dexter, she wasn't a prop anymore for him. She was actually a love interest, but it took a while for her to get to that point. I think he only really got invested in her when he found out she was pregnant, but I don't think he really liked her even still, but there was a point where that all changed and he really liked Rita. So then she died, which sucks, but I wasn't necessarily unhappy when she died. So that's why Rita Bennett Morgan makes my list at number 10. Number 9 is going to be Ramon Prado. I know, I bet none of you have Ramon Prado on your list. And he's not that bad of a character, but the way he was portrayed on Dexter as this loose cannon brother of Miguel Prado that kind of took the law into his own hands, but yet he's the one that was doing all the things that Miguel Prado took credit for when he was younger, like stepping up to their father, and how crazy he went when they found out that his younger brother, I can't remember his name now, it escapes me, just like in my characters video where I couldn't remember, or my seasons video when I couldn't remember George King, but how crazy and how psychopathic this sergeant, I believe, or cop at least, in another police force precinct, I should say, was, and how nuts he was as a officer of the law. Even though one of his family members got killed, you're not supposed to take the law into your own hands, and he certainly did. And just because of all that, I had to put him on my list. Now, I really thought about putting George from the strip club on my list, but he's just not that memorable to me. Like, were these other characters, like, I can't remember his last name, were these characters, or I just hate them like crazy. And how much of a loose cannon Ramon Prado is, that's why he makes my list at number 9. Number 8 is going to be Harrison. Now, this is mainly Harrison from a little bit of season 8 of Dexter and all of Dexter New Blood. I did not like Harrison at all in Dexter New Blood. I get his points, but in the end, he killed his father because his father didn't want to go to jail and killed somebody that Harrison knew for 2 weeks. Now, Coach Logan slash Sergeant Logan, he's a hell of a guy, but really, after a couple, I don't even know how long, maybe it was 3 weeks. I don't know, let's say a month. They knew each other for a month or less, and he got that upset where he had to shoot his dad with the rifle. Granted, his dad told him that that was the only way, but still, I don't like it. And then Harrison in season 8 of Dexter, he's not terrible, but just things he does where like he wants pancakes and he wants to watch the cartoon and tunes people out when they're trying to talk to him. And then him being told not to run on Aunt Deb's treadmill and then him doing it anyway, it just is annoying. Now, granted, he's the kid. Kids do that kind of stuff. I get it, but he was just a little over the top as a bratty kid that didn't really listen to anything people said when his father wasn't around. Although it sounded like he listened to Jamie most of the time. But I don't know. Because of Dexter New Blood and because of what went down in Dexter New Blood and the things that Harrison did, in the end, how Harrison changed, I had to put Harrison on my list. And that's why he comes in at number 8. Number 7 is going to be George King. The guy that was the Skinner slash tree trimmer in season 3 of Dexter. And he's not that memorable to me. He is built up to be this like badass guy, but in the end, he doesn't last long against Dexter. He has Dexter tied up to a table, and Dexter still gets out of that and still is able to kill this Skinner character. I think they made Miguel too likable as a character and just didn't put enough focus into this tree trimmer guy. And I don't know, maybe that's their plan all along, but I feel like they should have made him more menacing and more psychopathic, and he should have killed Anton. Anton should have died to make it like, wow, this guy just killed Deb's boyfriend. That should have happened. If he would have killed Anton, I probably wouldn't have him on my least favorite character list, and him as a villain would have went up a couple steps on the ladder, or up my ranking of my villains ranked of Dexter list. So that's why our Skinner George King from season 3 makes my list at number 7. Number 6 for me is going to be Oliver Saxon. Otherwise known as Daniel Vogel, our big bad villain from season 8 of Dexter. If you even really want to call him a big bad villain. I mean, things happen because of his character, but he wasn't really that memorable. He always seemed to have a stupid look on his face half the time. The stuff he did with Evelyn Vogel, that was legit. I hated him for that, which makes him a good villain because I wanted to hate him. But the whole stuff with Deb, he shot Deb, but the botched surgery is why Deb died. So yes, he made her go to the hospital, but it was this stupid doctor that caused Deb to die because they botched the surgery and there was a complication. And he really wasn't in many episodes. I think for a big bad villain on Dexter, they need to start the season off. Oliver Saxon showed up in like episode 6 or 7, maybe 5 at the earliest when he was with Cassie, but that just took a lot away from his character. And like I said, he always seemed to have a stupid look on his face and like this fake smile that I didn't like. And maybe he shouldn't make the list, but I just don't think he's a very memorable villain, even though bad things happened, especially to Evelyn Vogel and ultimately Deb, but Deb died because of the surgery, even though he's the one that shot her and that led to the surgery. But I don't know. I just had to put him on my list because I just don't like him. And that's why Oliver Saxon comes in at number 6. My number 5 is going to be Paul Bennett. The former husband of Rita and the father to Aster and Cody. I don't like Paul Bennett at all. I like the actor that plays him, as he is in Lost as Jacob, the protector of the island. But Paul Bennett is just a POS. He's an abusive husband, a narcotic and alcoholic, or a drug and alcohol abuser, and he is just a POS. Now, most of the time, it seemed like he was good to his kids, so I'll give him credit for that, but I don't like Paul. He wasn't a well-written character. If he would have stuck around longer, he may have been better, but just with all the things he did, it makes me not like him, and that's why Paul Bennett is my number 5. My number 4 is going to be Travis Marshall, our villain from season 6 of Dexter, which he was in every episode of Dexter. But ultimately, he really didn't affect any of our main characters. He killed a bunch of people that we don't know, just one-offs, and the whole religious undertone of season 6 of Dexter really annoys me, and unfortunately, he's the villain. The only villain, even though they want us to think that Professor Geller is one of the villains too, until the episode Get Geller. And I don't know, I mean, the best part about Travis Marshall, he did kidnap Harrison, but Dexter got him back pretty quickly, and then ultimately Travis Marshall was on Dexter's table, and the biggest moment with Travis Marshall is when he dies, and Deb sees that Dexter has killed Travis Marshall, and Dexter's like, oh God. So, yeah, maybe I'm a little hard on Travis Marshall because of the actual season of Dexter. Maybe if he was in a different season that didn't have a lot of religious stuff involved, maybe I wouldn't be so critical on it, but that's why Travis Marshall comes in as my number 4. In third place for me is going to be Teddy. From Dexter New Blood, our douchebag tool sheriff's deputy for Iron Lake that does absolutely nothing. In fact, who hired this guy? Was there a shortage on people that wanted to work for the Iron Lake Police Department? Because this guy is not qualified to do anything. I don't know how he got the job, but regardless, he got the job. I mean, comparing Logan to Teddy is like comparing a $100 bill to a $1 bill. And I don't even think I'm giving it justice there. It's like comparing a $100 bill to a penny. That's how bad Teddy is. Now, he doesn't really do anything really bad in the show. He's just such an idiot. And I don't know why he would get hired. If Angela hired Teddy, she needs to be fired immediately because she didn't check his resume that well. So that's why Teddy's my number 3. Number 2 for me is going to be Maria LaGuerta. From the first 7 seasons of Dexter, she was our lieutenant for most of the time. And she was a good character, but she was just so unlikable. Like, the things that she did, the things that she said, just pissed me off. Most with Deb, and then to get her job back to sleep with Esme Pascal's husband, or fiance. I think it was fiance, actually. The dirty things that she would do to get higher up, and blackmailing Tom Matthews. She's so vindictive, and she schemes. And she's, the good thing about LaGuerta, she did marry Angel Batista. That didn't last long. And then her defense for James Dokes. She never once believed that James Dokes was the Bay Harbor Butcher. But man, she was just so vindictive, and her trying to set Dexter up in the end. And look what happened. That led to her death. So good job, LaGuerta. If you would have just left things alone and just stayed out of their business, you would probably still be alive. But the only thing that's left in your memory now is a bench. A bench. They left a bench, the Maria LaGuerta bench, to sit on your ass. I don't know what the hell the point with that was for, but LaGuerta is not a likable character. She's a good character, though, but she's just not likable at all, and it makes me want to pull my hair out, some of the things that she does. In fact, I've already pulled it all out because I got so mad at LaGuerta, so that's why she's my number 2. And now it's time to reveal my least favorite character on Dexter, and do you know who it is? I don't think you do. It's Jacob Elway from season 8 of Dexter. The guy that hired Deb to work for him when Deb was going through some shit and she wanted to get away from Dexter. And this guy was just such an asshole. Like, he was just rude and mean and full of himself. I guess he was successful in his business, I'll give him that, but I just did not like Elway at all. I don't know if it's the actor or the way the character portrayed himself or both, but I despised Elway. And then he's going after Hannah McKay in the end and really wants to get his hands on Hannah to get the reward money. That's all he cares about is the reward money. Well, I guess that makes sense why he would care about that, because he's kind of in for business for himself, but he's just not likable. And then the end, when Hannah gets him with her tranquilizer, like, she fools Elway, and then he's left without Hannah. And the last we see of Elway is when he shows up at the hospital where Deb's at, and Dexter gets in his face and pushes him against the wall. So Elway, you stubborn son of a bitch, I hate you as a character, and I hope you never return to anything Dexter related. And that's why Elway is my least favorite character on any version of Dexter. So what'd you think? I know my list is really crazy. A lot of you will probably have Hannah as your least favorite character on Dexter. And I want to know why. If you could go into more details of why you don't like Hannah, because I absolutely love Hannah. She is my third favorite character on Dexter, but for some reason, the majority of the Dexter fan base absolutely hates Hannah McKay. And that's, yeah, she tried to poison Deb, but Deb lives, so it doesn't matter. So those are my thoughts. Of course, I want to hear from you. If you're a fan of Dexter or Dexter New Blood and want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider smashing that like button. It does help out the channel a lot, and obviously the goal is to grow the channel. Share this video with anybody you know. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are. Give me your top 10 least favorite characters on Dexter, or if you want to do top 5, that's fine. Remember, if Hannah's on your list, especially at number 1, I need more details about why Hannah is on your list, if possible. And remember to check out videos that I have made of Dexter. I'll put my top 35 characters right here, and I'll put my seasons ranked right over there. And last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.